was wondering, how does someone like Bonnie, who I actually think understands how to make money from content, because otherwise you wouldn't have the best podcast. You've won awards. And that's how I actually heard about your podcast. But then I was thinking, where I know that he would have earned more money in this content, why is he in Uganda? So when I come here and then see the recording setup, I'm like, but of course, like it does not make, this is such good content that uploading it from this address doesn't make monetary value as much as if it's uploaded from a different address. You know how it is here, we earn in slow motion. And let me see, yesterday I met some TikTokers who were in a dance rehearsal for Valentino's show. And we were talking, I was asking them how much money they make from their TikTok channels. And I know so many TikTokers that know that where the origin of your channel really plays a very huge role in how much money you're able to make, or if you're even able to make anything. And very many people know it, but they don't share the information as if like they will share and the audience will get over. Like, I don't get it. And we have relatives who, instead of asking them for money, we will just ask them to open us a TikTok account. Imagine if instead of stressing me to send you money, you don't know what I do it for. You just say, you know what, I just want you to open me a channel that is from that address and just give me the login details, and you don't know what you'll have done for me. It's we could say it's common knowledge, but the number of people doing content seriously that don't know that are painful. Like my TikTok channel, actually I opened it last year in Feb. I now have like 5.3 million, I think, followers.
But you were earning Kansiime. There's a difference. There's earning Kansiime.
It's true. But you see, if Anne knows those things, it goes to say how so sad it is that if you haven't made it and you're starting out, you're starting from the wrong direction. Then when will you ever catch up? And I knew that last year in Feb. That also gets, and I've been talking about it, but still people don't know that they are growing accounts that don't make sense because of where they opened them up from. But enough. My interview is over. Start.
Hey, UG boy, let's talk to them. Let's talk, let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. Let's talk, let's talk to them. Yeah, I'm from a beautiful place, the Pearl of Africa. Hailing with a 256, it's in my blood. That's a gem where the mountains rise, with stories untold. The tapestry of cultures unfolding, so vibrant and bold. A symphony of stars, a celestial light. The drums beating, echoing through the night, just like a beacon of light. A reflection that's coming up from the Nile. I'm flowing straight into the heart of Africa, with timeless stories untold. What's up, Doug?
One, two, chikube, chitte. I can't say anything else. One, two, chikube, chitte tugende.
Bo chitte. That's a good one.
Let it die today.
I sat down and created an introduction for my guest, Kansiime. I am a fan right now. Simaina ngenda handling an interview, but you made me already comfortable, because interviewing an icon when you are a fan, it's kind of, you be shaking, but you made it easy for me. But for my listeners, today I have the honor of hosting a true icon, a trailblazer in African comedy, and one of the most celebrated entertainers of our time. She's a comedian, actress, musician, writer, and all-around powerhouse who has made millions laugh across the continent and beyond. From her viral skits that took the internet by storm to sold-out shows around the world, she has proven time and again that laughter is indeed a universal language. She's also known as African Queen of Comedy, a title she earned through years of hard work, resilience, and pure talent. Her journey from Kabale, Uganda to the global stages is nothing short of inspiring. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Kansiime. Wanji. Ukibomba. The Kenyans say, Ukibomba sana wapi ndulu wewe.
Yeah, wewe.
Welcome to my podcast,
I am so happy to be here, Bonnie. I am so happy. I've been proudly associated from a distance.
Yeah.
You've been seeing me in your comments. Every time I post anything on Instagram, like, me. I'm hoping in future he remembers me. So I'm actually so glad you called me. I'm shocked you're saying you're a fan. Your introduction, there's somewhere where you reached, you said, and she has made millions. Laugh all around the world, but you posted on millions. In my head, I'm like, which millions is he talking about that I have made? People might follow
me. Know
me.
your bank account. She has made millions.
Yeah, I keep under the mattress.
And it's been a long time, and I think it's perfect timing. God's timing is always the best. I believe that, and the timing is always perfect, because there was a time, I think 2 years ago, I wanted to have you on my podcast. But I feel like I'm happy that we're having it now, because maybe I wasn't ready for it. And like maybe because of now, even the connection we've had, like you said on Instagram, you commenting, seeing the support, it makes me like appreciate that. It makes me feel like, okay, now maybe 2 years I'm like just stammering, I don't know what to say. But like now being able to having that kind of a relationship, or seeing you support on Instagram, and your name has come up a few times on this podcast with the people I've had on here, like Discover Kai shared a really cool story that I collaborated with you on that, and I had Babaluku last year, and he was talking about you guys collaborating and the things that you do in the industry. But you mentioned something, you were doing a dance, and I saw a clip of you dancing. Since when do you dance? Like, I didn't see that in your introduction.
My friend, excuse me. Me, I'm a dancer. I can dance.
Hey.
I have my certificates at home. I can dance all the 27 traditional dances of Uganda, because that's what we were doing in school, really. So I can dance. And right now I am one of the people going to feature on Dance with Valentino, I think. He has a show at the Serena next week on the 26th. It's a Saturday. So yeah, that's why.
I saw some moves. I saw you pulling some moves. So
me, I'm bad. I'm so bad.
Omanyo kuba B-boy. You know B-boy.
And a B-boy in Jizina, you just know I dance. I can dance. And with rehearsal, I can dance. Lately, I am doing exercises. I'm trying to stay fit. I'm loving my body. So there are so many things I can do now that I didn't know I can do.
Now, I go back to you quoting my introduction when I paused at millions. There was one time on your Instagram, you posted something and you said there will be signs. And you were busy eating oysters.
Enjoying, not just eating. Enjoying. Like, I was so shocked. I saw myself in that video clip and said, who is this?
Had you had them before?
To meet this person. I had them one time in Singapore, and I was like, my face, I didn't understand what was going on. First of all, you look so closely and you can really see really, I can't even, you're eating something alive. Like it's looking at you, it could be turning. So the first time I ate them, I was very disappointed because they were not as yucky as they look.
Yeah.
So this other time, I was encountering them for the second time. I was an earring. I even ordered I said, you have oysters? I want oysters. And they brought, and I was very surprised by my enzymes because I enjoyed them. I was like, who is this? Kansiime, who are you? So yeah, there will be signs. I think even my mouth, my palate is beginning to get jet lagged. Like all of my body parts are beginning to travel with me whenever I leave because I was shocked at my response at eating those oysters.
I saw the video and I'm like, yeah, you were busy enjoying while they zoom in, they zoom out. I'm like, I cannot eat them. I cannot try them. Because people even eat like crab. They eat like even shrimp. It's hard a little bit.
Mbiria. Olaba tuli abantu abalamu kate enyama nga yakulya biche ebyo byoli kwogerago twogedde Oluganda batusiba batya oli ya America terajja batujjawa.
My first segment is called This or That. I ask you two questions. You have to pick one thing. You can choose to explain why you pick the other and not the other one, or you can choose to say that's my answer. I go with that. The first one, stand-up comedy or skit acting?
Skit acting. You want me to explain why I choose skit acting?
Yes, please.
Because skit acting gives me a chance to not die. There's a take two. When I'm acting skits, I'm usually a one take wonder because we have a plan for the skit. So I know I'm going to go to the shop. I'll be looking for sugar. They won't have sugar. I'll end up living with posho and so I know the flow. But we don't have lines of you'll say this and I say this. So during skits, I know that if I don't get it on the first take, I can get it on the second take.
Yeah.
And I am never as nervous as I am when I'm doing stand-up. I hate stand-up. I've said this before. I only do stand-up because it was the only way I could sell myself all over the world without having to move with a team. Every time someone wanted to host me outside countries, they couldn't afford taking me with Philip, with Grace, with Gerard, the people that I was making it with. They would love the skits and then want Anne to come and see them. So I had to make sure I learned stand-up comedy because otherwise you're going to go see people who think you're funny and you don't have your team, but they need to get an idea of why they've brought you. So I needed to figure out a way of entertaining without a team. That's the only reason why I ended up in stand-up comedy. But if it was up to me, I would do sketch comedy for life. That's why even when God gives me life, I will do skits for as long as I'm alive. Because they're the easiest formula.
Those skits are funny, and there's some that I'll bring up later in the conversation because they come with some questions, but they're funny as hell, and I'm thankful to God for giving us Anne Kansiime. Mkama yatuletera Anne. Anyway, the other question, performing in Uganda or performing abroad?
Performing abroad.
Yeah.
Performing abroad, I'm like, Jesus, at home they are judging you, but when you move anywhere, they are loving you. An audience like Zambia and Rwanda, Kigali is like, I'll stand on stage in Kigali and I'll be like, eh! And they will laugh. Before I say anything, I've held my microphone, I'm standing, and I stand and I'm like, eh! And I'm trying to sing, "Ayo many." I'll say, "Eh," and they'll be like, So in Kampala, by the time you get a hearty laugh from the audience, you've worked for it. Because after time you step on stage and they're like, Queen of Comedy. Auntie Bagamba, Queen of everywhere. Let's see. And you can see that facial expression on their face. Because I studied psychology. It helps me read body language when I'm on stage. It's good, but it also can mess up with your head when you're trying to follow the trend of a joke and then you see someone not believing where you're taking the story. Because you can be in the middle of a joke and you're about to hit the punchline and you see someone who has very little faith in the audience and they make you even forget where the story is going. Yo, man, stand-up is a bother. Hey, so I'd rather perform for people outside countries because by the time I step on stage, they are sure I'm funny and anything that comes out of my mouth is entertaining. And I prepare for them, so I really never disappoint.
I think most people would say that people are loved outside countries, but hey, in Uganda, they judge, they don't like, or to make them laugh, you have to work really hard, like you just said. Hey, it's not easy.
Mukwano, even my first show, Don't Mess with Kansiime, started in Nairobi. It was first on Citizen TV.
Yeah.
And then when Citizen got it, Ugandans were like, we've been seeing this Kagara around at the National Theatre. She's famous. Just like that, had I not made it away and just kept in Uganda trying to make it, which is why really I feel like comedians that perform solely for the local audience have a long way to go. A long way to go. Especially those who perform in the local language where nobody outside of your dialect can understand what you're joking about. And this is not silent comedy. It's comedy where your punchlines are in dialogue. I laugh, but I laugh in pain. I'm like, only just us Baganda are going to understand this. So I really would rather perform for a foreign audience.
The next one, making people laugh or making people think?
Making people think.
Yeah.
Because I've realized there's a lot of thinking that is in laughter, actually. For something to reach you and intrigue you and make you laugh, you must identify with it. You must see it and understand it. So when I'm on stage, I am more concerned with connecting with someone, talking about a scenario where you hit your toe on the table. And I want to see you in the audience too, because you've understood me properly.
Yeah.
Because you've remembered that day you knocked your toe on a table. And when I'm telling the story, I would rather, instead of laughing and you're hysterical and you want to pee, I like that these people in the audience who sit and they look at you like they're looking at you and they're like, what goes on in this girl's head? I prefer having an audience that is just quiet and consumed to one that is just hysterical and laughing. Of course, laughter is good if you're on stage to do comedy, but I love a thinking audience.
I forgot to say, I think I should have brought some handkerchief and something to wipe my tears because I'm going to be laughing throughout this.
That's fine. That's fine.
We've just started, but my eyes are teary. I don't know if people can see that. But traditional Ugandan food or trying international cuisine?
Traditional Ugandan food, because my appetite is actually horrible. And I'm very surprised when I like foods from outside countries, because whenever I'm away, I dream of matoke the moment I'm at the airport checking in to leave.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at the airport leaving, I'm like, matoke. Along with my son, when I'm saying I'm going to miss my son, I think of matoke. So I would rather do traditional food than foreign food. But some foreign food is really nice.
Yeah. I was going to follow up with what's your favorite food, but now I know matoke. What else?
Matoke with anything else. You could throw salt there, you could put beans, you could put shabwe. Is there matoke?
Yeah.
We start from matoke. Then sauces, there we can talk.
Yeah.
I love matoke so much because I feel like it's easy potassium. Like there's no work. It's just tasty.
My final one, silent retreats or wild adventures?
Silent retreat. Because I feel like every time I step out into the public is a wild adventure for me, because when someone sees me, the energy they expect from me is not the one I came with.
Yeah.
So I always have to gather myself to be out in the public. So wild adventures, my goodness, I'm that person who goes on holiday and I don't know why you're getting me out of bed for breakfast. Like, what's that? I'm on holiday. Let me sleep. When I wake up, food will be eaten. Then maybe I'll sleep some more. And then maybe I'll I don't know, use that time to like zoom into the things I have on my phone and then do some yoga, do some exercises, do some swimming, but just quiet time, please. Quiet time.
That was my this or that session, and I just laughed from just 5 questions. So now, this other section is where we talk about Kansiime, your journey, your life, your everything, some of the funny stuff that I have down. When I was doing a research, when I was reading about you,
when you were stalking me, you mean?
When I was stalking you, somebody said that in my stalker. Nenze bank wa research wange. Nze stalking what?
Bwe mutyo ne ba lawyers tebamanyi nti balaya.
Are you from Kabale or are you from Rukunjire?
I am from Kabale, Mparo, Chitanga. I'm from Ngenu, Ruchiga.
Yeah.
I'm from Ruchiga. Right now it's actually Ruchiga district. It's not Kabale district.
Oh, really?
They split it further. So I'm from Ruchiga district.
Ruchiga nation.
Which is in the depth of Western Uganda, and I am a Msiji from Mparo, Chitanga.
Mparo, okay.
And I'm still a Msiji because nobody has married me. Maybe if someone marries me, then I'll be from their end.
Okay. What did Kansiime want to be when you're growing up?
A shopkeeper.
Really?
Yes, I wanted to be a shopkeeper because my mom had a shop and I saw she was really rocking it. But also there was a shop next to Kabale Primary School that used to sell very yummy donuts, very oily, yummy mandazi. We used to call them ebiaje. And I remember looking at Mr. Wiri, the shopkeeper, giving me biaje for 500 shillings. I remember it was my birthday, so I was buying biaje so that I give people at break. And I saw him put biaje of 500 in a chivera in my head. I said, but if I had a shop, when I grow up, there's no way I'm not going to have a shop where I am making the best biaje. so that I get all the money there is for Biagi. So growing up, I really knew I would be a shopkeeper and maybe a mom. Just now I was idolizing my mom. She was a stay-home mom who had a shop and used to sell some secondhand clothes and some, household products. And she seemed to be rocking it. So I was like, when I grow up, I could do this.
Did you ever make a shop? Did you ever start a shop? Do you have a shop?
Well, did I ever have a shop? No, I actually have never. I didn't get a chance to have a shop. The first job I did, I was a teacher. I was teaching music at Trinity College, Kabale. Then I taught music again at St. Lawrence, Paripale. I taught music again at Kampala Happy Tots. So I think art consumed me as I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, I thought I would just maybe be a business person. But as I grew up, everything I was doing threw me in the direction of art.
Yeah.
Because I even did social sciences at the university, but ended up spending most of my time at the music department than my department. I even didn't graduate.
You said you didn't graduate from university?
I went to university. I have some classmates who will tell you I sat with them. Just now I went to university, and you cannot fault me. I have evidence. I even took pictures in the lecture room. And I went there for 3 years. But in the third year, when we are there, there's that about second semester, third year, and you're trying to tally all your results from all the other years. And then I hear there's a retake somewhere in second year. There was a course unit that I'm like, yo, you guys are joking. Me, as far as I'm concerned, university, I'm so done. And because tuition was hard to get. My brother-in-law is the one who was paying my school fees. And you don't be going saying you have retakes when you have someone paying for you tuition. Kampala was hard. I said, you know what? I borrowed a friend's gown, with the graduation gown. I went to Wandegea, took a picture, and I put it in an envelope and took it home to my father and said, we have graduated and finished. And they never said anything, because by the time even students were graduating in my class, I was a big deal already. I was already on TV, acting with the Theatre Factory then, which is Fun Factory now.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't graduate, but I know I went to Makerere.
Do you ever have thoughts of going back?
Never. By that, I'll never go back to class. That one I have refused. Unless I'm going to learn over how to what. Let me see. I think I can. The only thing I'm going to learn is an instrument.
Okay.
Because I intend to retire into music. So I feel like it's going to be hard for me to tap deeper into my writing and in my music unless I have a helper, an instrument, a keyboard or a guitar. So I think that's the only time I'll go back to school to learn a music instrument.
You went to Beranyanji Girls High School?
Beranyanji for 6 years.
Beranyanji, yeah. Were you popular in high school?
Yes. I was very, very popular. I was a house captain. I was the school goalkeeper. I was on the volleyball team. You'll be there laughing. I tell you, that was asked and now you are laughing. So I was the school goalkeeper. I was, what was I not? I was very, very active. I had a nickname. They used to call me Tomato because of some popular play I acted, and I was a house girl and I was always asking for tomatoes.
Yeah.
Then I was in the school choir. I was the choir leader. So I was very, very, very popular. I don't think anyone who was in Weranyanji, actually people who were in Weranyanji even after me, still act like, who are in Weranyanji with Anne. They are with me, proudly associated. I think I was in Weranyanji around the same time Barbara Itungo, Bobby Wine's wife. Mm-hmm. When I was in S1, she was in S5. So S2 were in the same choir when we met Bobby Wine for the first time at the National Theatre in that play.
Oh.
So that's the girl, that's the OG I am.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I went to Weranyanji because that's where Matembe had gone. That's where Janet had gone. So I knew I might become something really powerful if I go to Weranyanji.
And you did. That's amazing. So I put out a post that we shared on Instagram for people to ask you questions. So in this session, I'm going to bring their questions as the story goes. I'm not going to have a special segment for just questions because I put those questions as the story flows where they fit in. Yeah. Okay. So, and this is the first question that somebody brings. Why comedy?
I don't know. Comedy found me.
Yeah.
It's that I'm doing comedy because that's the first opportunity I got to perform professionally. It was in a play at the National Theatre, which I didn't know was a comedy play, which I didn't know was with a comedy outfit. But I met Tuanje Richard, Frobi Sharwanga, Gerard Rutaro, and Catherine Bagaya in Rock Point 256. I was very good at radio dramas. I can change my voice and act. I sound like a 2-year-old who is out of breath. Then I can sound like a little bit older child. Then I can sound... So I was doing like 4 voices in Rock Point. And I was popular within the Rock Point cast, which had people who were in theatre factories. So they had a play coming up at the National Theatre called My Nasty Good Story. And they suggested to cast me and Catherine. It didn't occur to me that I would then be a part of Theatre Factory. I went to do that play, which was a comedy play. We did a really good job and we just never left. We became part of the comedy outfit, and the platform, the first platform, performance platform I had was on a comedy stage. So I did well and here I am.
And then I just added the other question, another person that asked, what is your inspiration? I don't know if he's asking now or then or any way you can answer that question.
Well, right now, I think I have one constant inspiration, who is my son. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I think even today I came here because of my son. Actually, I was about to tell Bonnie would have killed me. I woke up and there's a flu going around. There's, kids when they've just started going to school. So he got this flu and he had a very bad temperature last night. So I woke up in the morning, calm, you try to manage the temperature. I don't like taking him to hospital. I don't like him pricked. I don't like that medicine they give him. So we always try to see if we can manage from home. So by the time I left, we had managed to handle the temperature, and I was like, okay, I think I really need to go and do this Bonnie interview. Because I was about to tell you, unless you want me to come with my son, I'm not going to be able to make it. So yeah, my inspiration really is my son. Sometimes I am actually heading out of home, and how he reacts towards me leaving home determines whether or not I have a good time where I go, or if I go.
Yeah.
And there's some gigs where you felt like you don't even want to go. So it's like him saying, but mommy, why are you going? Because he never asks all the time. There are gigs where he asks you and you're like, why is my son asking me why I'm going? And if you think deeper, you get there, they disrespect you, you get there, Selassie said this. You be saying it in your... I'm like, this boy. Because, the name Selassie means God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Nice.
So I take that child too seriously. I think it's too seriously for my own good. He's a blessing I refuse to joke with at any time of my life. Yeah. No, he's my reality check. He is my inspiration. And he's a reason for so many things. For so many things. And I thank God for him.
Having a child, I can definitely understand and relate to that or connect to it. There's a way that means...
Hey, your child is very gorgeous. I saw your child the other day.
Thank you.
You were doing an interview. I'm like,
How old is your son?
My son is turning 4 on 14th April.
So my daughter is almost 2. So twins kubia ente.
No, but all these things we can do. Ate for last me, I have property. My son is so rich.
You
do? My friend, we are not going to make your daughter suffer.
I think
we are not going to make your daughter suffer. We are going to love your daughter. Banange, don't joke. Because Selassie is already working. Selassie works at Jill International Preschool. Bamusasolo musala kugenda kusomero kusoma.
That's a plus.
What's the name of our wife?
Isla.
So tell Isla, she just needs to grow and flourish and glow.
Yeah.
For us, we shall hustle. We are going to look after her.
That is funny.
Mama, but that's the kind of mother I'm going to be. But I fear for people's daughters. Because if my son loves your daughter, Mama, That's it. Me, I'll be like, yes, my son.
Yeah, done, deal, sealed. But in you talked about Theatre Factory that you did at National Theatre, which is now a Fun Factory, but you also did Barbed Wire back in the day, which became U-Turn, Taxi Driver, Conductor in Minibus.
Yes.
That was amazing. That was fun. What do you think about now when you think about back in those days about yourself?
Bonnie, those were the days where I remember there's a quote I said, you know, those things where you say something and then they're like, by Kansiime. I said that the best job to do is the one you're not aware you're working till it's payday. I was in that era where everything I was doing, I was having such a blast. Like I would jump on a boda, go to Swangs Avenue. It used to be on Tank Hill in Nyenga. Jump to Swangs Avenue and drop like a GoTV advert. Then run to Super FM somewhere where drop an advert. Then run to Bava Studios, record 0.256, jump on a boda, go to the National Theatre, rehearse for Theatre Factory. Then first thing in the morning, go to Minibus and host. Like it was so I don't know, like living in your purpose. They were like 3-4 years where I was working so hard, which is why my first marriage had to fail. Like I didn't even, it failed, like it had to fail. It wasn't something I was working on or doing any effort on. I was just enjoying my work, and my husband then was also enjoying his life when I am going to work. So when I think of that time, I was really thriving. That energy, I'm so jealous of it because I can't do half of the things I used to do then. First of all, I don't want anything more than 2 shows in a month in Uganda. And if they're outside, I don't want to travel more than twice in a month right now. So and it's just, I think I worked so hard then so that I can chill now.
That explains it.
I really did. I really worked so hard then. I didn't see that I was working hard as enjoying the grind. I really enjoyed it.
So that's where I bring another question still. Somebody, and this question came from Kenya. One of my friends is from Kenya. He says, ask her,
Kenya loves me. I love Kenyans.
Have you renewed your driver's license yet? And this goes back to a clip you did 10 years ago when they pulled you over. I actually have an expired driving permit right now. Like, I don't think this should be said now because... But the same explanation you said in the clip.
First wait. No, yeah, of course. Like, but whenever officers stop me, now this is also quite a blessing being Kansiime. When I'm stopped by an officer, it does not matter how bad their day is. There are those who see me and they're like, I'm going to give Anne a run for her money. But by the time the other officers they are with on the road can't allow them to pin me properly. Because if Okello sees that Byamsha has stopped me, you'll find Byamsha saying, come see, Kansiime. Then I was telling Okello how his brother Ojo broke my heart. I don't like northern men. Maybe for him if he's different. So somehow it's rare for me to be stopped by someone on the road and they ask for my permit.
Yeah.
It's actually rare. So, yeah, and my permit expired. I tried to renew it, and the process was excruciating. I first came, they said, okay, you can't use a photocopy national ID. Then I remember I came, then I misplaced it. Then I found it when it was already expired. Just know, I am driving with an expired permit, and you've just pinned me. Your
explanation was good. You asked the officer. So, no, was the question. You said, so when you go to...
No, actually, he said, where's your driving permit? I gave him my driving permit. Then he said it's expired. I'm like, I don't understand you.
Yeah.
He's like, it's expired. It is saying you should have renewed it last year. I'm like, so? So you mean I've forgotten how to drive because the date on my permit is saying that it's expired? Or you, when you went and studied and finished degree, or finished S6 without that certificate. So that certificate now it expired. That knowledge expired. Just to know. It doesn't make sense, though. And then these permits, they make them expire after like 3-4 years. It's like they really want you to just go and pay again for driving your own car that you have bought. There's even another scenario with cars we as a country allow cars which drive up to the speed of 220 kilometers per hour to come into the country, right? We build very nice roads because we have a very nice carpet on Fort Poto Road. We have a carpet on Kabare, on Mbarara Kabare Road there, Masaka. There, the road is very, very nice. Then they allow you to buy your car. And you're on a smooth road, nobody's in front of you, apart from an officer who is waiting to catch you wrongly driving your car at your speed.
Yeah.
Then they stop you. They're like, did you know you were overspeeding? I'm like, overspeeding past who? Past what? What have I knocked for it? Also, what do you mean overspeeding? This car is at 200 and it stops at 240 kilometers per hour. But I can't. I have to drive it only up to 80 kilometers per hour for all the time I have bought it. Why don't you just put speedometers? At the cost, we know that our cars in Uganda, no matter how you press your leg, some of us have heavy legs. So no matter how you press the accelerator, it will not go past 100 kilometers per hour. But they should save us. This looks like a trap.
There's a reason why it is at 220. There's a reason why that 220 is there. So
hey, I have to use it. And if it's my car and you've driven it for a very long time, you haven't reached those ends. So those ends is for who?
Yeah.
For the thief when they steal it and they're racing away.
That's funny. Anyway, you mentioned about your breakthrough on Citizen TV. Don't Mess with Kansiime. Those skits were amazing. They were fun. People back in the day who used to watch them. But again, you've resumed shooting some of these skits with the Njugushi. You said Don't Mess
Bonnie,
with... Yeah.
I actually never stopped doing those skits. The only difference is I stopped putting them on TV and started exclusively putting them on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I have always been doing skits. Like I told you, I will be doing skits for as long as I can do skits. Right now I'm doing collaborations because it's the wave of collaboration. I have a platform that many of my fellow content creators do not have.
Right.
So I also have a dryness in creativity because I like now hitting my heads with the current young guys who are, making it in the industry. It allows me also to resurrect some of the things that have died in my creativity. Then it allows me to spill some knowledge because when I'm working with them, there are things they will learn from you just by existing in your presence on the set. Mm-hmm. And I believe in working with people with whom we have the same vibration and energy, so that we all benefit at 360 degrees, not me benefiting what I'm benefiting, and you leave feeling empty and feeling used. So yes, I've been doing those skits. I continue to do those skits. I wish I would continue casting the old cast because people are crazy about the old cast.
They are funny.
Yes, yeah. But the old cast grows. It grows. It outgrows the production. And I stick to it because it's Don't Mess with Kansiime. But then they outgrow these things and then do their own. Someone like Evelyn Kemizinga is doing her own videos on YouTube. Gerard is always doing his thing at the National Theatre. I don't know where Philip went. Grace apparently was... Grace, the one with Commander Hips, the one I used to act with, was a sports journalist, one of the best sports journalists we had here at NBS. And now she's, I think that side in America, she entered the medical ministry. She's now a nurse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So people move, they grow, and they give me room for the likes of Njugush. Njugush is a madman. I worked with Njugush about 5 years ago. He is a mad man.
So my mom is Kenyan. My dad is Ugandan. So when I see my cousins and we talk about that, I related to that clip so well because what are you saying?
I'm telling you. And how they really disrespect our shitting always gets to me. I always want to wrestle with Njugush. I'm like, can you just leave our millions alone? She's like, in Uganda, you are a millionaire anytime. You just step in with your Kenyan shillings and you just start spoiling people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also one of the other skits that you did with the Muzungu, I'm sorry, I've forgotten her name. It was funny. That's one of the clips that I was showing my friends over here. I was like, this is funny, and like I'm gonna also. She's
called Yeshka. She's dating a Ugandan, and she was here and she said we do some skits. I was like, are you ready? Washka, are you ready? I'm like, what will you do? She's like, you just tell me. There's nothing I will not do. I'm like, okay, come and steal my jackfruit.
Yeah.
And she stole my jackfruit and regretted. It's like she had just killed a cattle. I was like, you mean your ancestors are not satisfied with what they took? Now you've decided to come and even take our jackfruit. Some of these things, I really don't know they are going to go as viral as they do. I swear. Like, sometimes I have no idea. I post a skit and walk away from my phone and come to a real virus. Like, you come and I'm like, what are people going through? I didn't know this was speaking to these many people. So, yeah, but it's sweet. It's sweet.
As of 2014, your YouTube channel has had more than 15 million views. That's a lot, and that's amazing work, man. I was reading that. I'm like, that's crazy. On top of that, I counted about like 15 awards that you've won, and I know you have more than what I even saw, or even what the internet allows us to see. But like, to appreciate the work that you've put into this comedy, and you've performed all over the world. And you've mentioned about how you enjoy performing out there. And one of my friends from Zimbabwe asked a question.
I love Zimbabwe.
Have you been to Zimbabwe?
Yes, I've been to Zimbabwe.
And what's the craziest thing you've heard about Zimbabwe?
Now, Zimbabwe, they have funny names. First, tell me the name of your friend.
Takawi.
Pardon? Takachi?
I actually call him Taka because his name is...
You see? Now, that's even a good name because that's an African name. Let me tell you what they do in Zimbabwe. I met someone called Anything. Anything. Like Stephen Anything.
Yeah.
There was someone called Therefore. No, don't laugh. Hey, there is Fine. Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
You go online, just in your free time, Bonnie, go online and Google craziest Zimbabwe names. Just know I did a whole set on just how I was blown away. These guys, anything can be a name, even roundabout, man. Because if you call your friend something, that means you were too busy. Like, how busy were your parents? They were rushing where to call you something. Like, something? Ichiringo kuzalo mwana nomuita gundi. Yo, craziest thing about Zimbabwe is that. But also the last time I was in Zimbabwe, I did a show at one of their biggest hotels. And during that time, Mugabe was still in power, still there. And the vice president of the nation was staying in the penthouse of the hotel I was performing in. So I remember some of the jokes I cracked on stage that day were laugh softly. They were in someone's sitting room. And I think that blew them away. They were like, how does she even know that our president is staying in this hotel? So, and that's the beauty of research, of stalking the people you want to talk to or the people you want to entertain. So I had stalked myself around them. I had understood what's going on there, and the set was really beautiful. I love Zimbabwe. It's one of those countries that just welcomed me and loved me and owned me. Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, and Kenya.
Harare. Shout out to all my Zimbabwean friends that I've had on the podcast. I think I've had like five people.
Because their greeting is Zikom. Is it Zikom? There's some... And then they understand our language.
I know.
You be
there was a video
Uganda.
the other day. Yeah, there was a video
though?
on, was it in Boo? Somebody posted it on Instagram when they were speaking, is it Shoka and Luganda? And the words were the same. I'm like, yeah, they're speaking our language. Yeah.
And also, the music I usually do has mostly my Ruchiga language. And when you go to the comments, it's not even Bachiga saying, like, they're like, why do I understand what you're singing? And I'm like, because we are all Africans. What are you talking about?
What are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a female comedian in Africa?
The standard ones of just by the fact that you're a woman and you're a small one at that. Sometimes I've had to speak so loudly so that I can protect the rest of the rest of my body. My mouth has to work so much so that I protect the rest of my body in this industry. Yeah. And then someone will leave you alone. They won't talk about your body. They won't talk about you because they are afraid of what might come out of your mouth. You get it?
I guess.
So my biggest challenge, it's not like a separate challenge, really. It's just what every woman faces in a place of work. It doesn't change. It doesn't change with us comedians. But also, it's art. Anange, being a woman in these things. Well, and I think, just know it's not easy.
And I think because you're a musician too, because to the Ugandan music, maybe dominated by men or male, but there are still women who are singing good music. Do you think it's the same way in comedy that, it's because, like, I don't even know how to ask the question, but like, do you think the comedy is also dominated by men, or why is that?
It's not a thought, Bonnie. Don't fear it. The comedy industry in Uganda is definitely dominated by men. Off the top of my head, I'll give you names of like just 5 female comedians. Agnes Akite, Kotilda Inapo. And there's some young girl who's come up. I'm yet to know her name very well. She's very young. She's probably 13. And then everyone else is in and out of the industry. Like you hear that they are in, but then by the time the year ends, they're not in comedy. And culturally, very few women are allowed to speak a certain way in public. It's like a silent rule. I am just a rebel. And being that I come from Kabale and I am a Muchiga, I can use that as an excuse anywhere in Uganda. If I'm caught off guard, I'll tell you, okay, so first of all, sorry for I came so strongly on you. I'm a Muchiga, but also I was joking. Like I'll use it. I'll remind you I'm a comedian, so you don't take so much offense. But being a female comedian is definitely harder here in a culture where guys can do things you're not supposed to do. Which there's Sengana, there's Leida Kachapizo. There's Leida Kachapizo. There's Sengana Ntume, but Sengana Ntume is more Senga. That's porn. I think Sengana Ntume is just pornography.
No, there's another show, Bina Baby. There are 3 women, they sit together and they...
Now, first of all, let's stop there. The name of the presenter, Bina, by the time you're allowed to be called Bina Baby, that means we are talking about anything on this show. By the way, this is the second time I'm talking about her. She might come for me. The other day on Mwasuze Mutia, I was talking about someone passing on a comedy show. You see there Bina and you talk about it. They're like, hey, Anne, you're saying a Bina. I'm like, people are called Bina. Don't you know Bina, baby? So if she hears this, she might think I'm going for her. But female comedians really, may I encourage them to come. They should come and we be embarrassed together. They shouldn't be afraid. I mean, the world has talked about me however it wants. But here I am.
That's strong. Yeah.
Like those words won't faze you if you have a plan, if you know how you got where you are. So I hope we get more girls. Yeah. And with the music industry, when I see the girls who are making it, I'm even afraid. I'm like, I'll not make it in the music industry because what it takes to make it. I will just be there in the background. I'll be one of those people who they know can sing, but is not a musician.
Yeah. Somebody asked, does your tribe affect your career? And you actually just mentioned it, you being a Muchiga, and how you use that to stay standing and stay strong.
I don't think I would be doing my show if I was a Mtoro. If I was like from Fort Poto.
Yeah.
Nga kubaza mpora. Nga I have to go slowly and touch things slowly. So now you would have to mess with Kansiime. Like the character me does not allow you to mess with me.
Right.
So that means Nzenga Kansiime or Muchiga, you're not going to mess with me. So I really truly believe 3/4 of who I am and where I've gone and where I've reached is because I was very fortunate. God created me as a Muchiga.
In the same way, social media, and we talked about this, about you doing the collaboration, how things have changed, like the production of your old skits, but social media has played a big role in your career. And how do you see the evolution of like digital platforms in shaping the comedy today? Like how people actually are using like Instagram a lot to post their skits and TikTok and all that stuff promoting.
I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know who is responsible. I just can't wait for a time when Ugandans and maybe Africans at large have the same opportunity to make money off these platforms. Because I think these platforms have only showed us that we are as creative as we think we are, Africans. And there are so many creators creating very, 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 very creative entertainment. But the payments,
Yeah.
which is really so different from when we started. Because when I started, I think I was the first TikToker doing skits, just that there was not TikTok. The skits, I was putting them on YouTube. Do you get? So then then there was exclusivity of my platform was where people were going to see the constant skits that were coming, right? And then I didn't realize how also YouTube's payment program is shaky till you realize that very many people have now entered the app and so much content is being created. And then you realize that 10K views right now don't mean anything, because last time when you had 10K views on a video, it had made it had broken the roof. But right now, with all these many platforms coming, the current generation has run out of excuses. So everyone must be able to create, because whatever gadgets it is, they have a full studios. You have a phone and it's a real full studio. We have no excuse of I don't have cameras, I can't shoot. So it's good, but the pressure has also pressured. The platforms being there and being many is wonderful, but that means output is becoming too much, and for you to stand out, it becomes harder for you. I feel like I would have suffered if I'd also started in this era, because kids are mad creative. I'm lucky. They'll be like, hey, that's the auntie, the original auntie who did skits. Hey, that one. But kids these days have no excuse. There's everywhere to showcase your work. Someone can't ask you what you do or what you're good at, and you can't explain yourself, because there are very many avenues for you to explain what it is you do. And just know it's easier for us to talk about what we are capable of doing artistically right now because of the apps that are available. My issue is the compensation that comes with those apps. Those apps are being able to access a lot of authentic content and fleecing Africans by just saying, we have no arrangement with your government. So if you have no arrangement with my government, what the hell are you doing in my country?
Right.
I would like to actually ask that. Why do we have TikTok here? Why are they okay operating here, but they're not okay paying our creators? I never understand that.
That's a good point.
Like, why? Like, honestly, think about it. When you, right now, if you see the TikTokers and the followers, and it's a lot, people are spending their time and their lives on TikTok and not being paid. And TikTok's explanation is, we are not in that area. But you are. You're in that area. So you're there to just fleece content? These platforms claiming that they don't know about us when it's time to get paid, but they know about us when it's time to get content. That's unfair.
And I think you're the second person coming on this platform saying about that. And I'll say the same thing, but I think you just need to join forces, because here in America, if something is happening, people are going to start writing letters to them. Hey, we need this, we need this. And I think we need the same thing like in Uganda. If we demand that, like if they can find a way, either work with mobile money and find a way to get them money to their mobile money in Uganda and pay them. Because now these things of asking them social security number, simanya bichi tin number, you know, if you go in a country,
bamubuza address asura ku kafene bagala kwata kafene akateeke mu document.
No, that's a very good point. But social media also brings you in a public eye, and social media brings the negative side about it. And I think recently it's been something that you've had to deal with about your family and your life. And I knew somebody's going to ask about it. So somebody still had to ask, is it true that you and Sky are going separate ways? And the other person was just saying, I pray that Kansiime and Sky, their love never ends. What do you talk about that situation? I know you've talked about it a lot on different platforms, but maybe people on the podcast would love to hear about that.
Answering the first person, did Kansiime and Skylanta go their separate ways? That's impossible. It's impossible for you to fall in love and give birth to a child and have results, have a child, and then go your separate ways. Then where does the child stay? So it is impossible. Me and Tata Selassie can never go separate ways as long as we have Selassie. But also saying, I pray that the love of Anne Kansiime and Skylanta never dies. That's the second question, the second statement, right? Can't, because Selassie is a representation of it. But what is in my heart and what is in Tata Selassie's heart could be different. But still, there's love between us. Love is not lost.
Right.
We are still partners raising a very amazing boy. But that does not stop us from emotionally finding solace elsewhere where we can find it.
And I've seen some people, even in the comments or everywhere that a lot of bloggers and people posted that when it happened. Some people call it a stunt. What do you talk about the people who say, oh, that's a stunt, they're just setting it up? Because I saw some comments of people saying that.
Well, them calling it a stunt doesn't make it a stunt. There's that consolation, but also it's consolation I give myself for nearly all the false stories that are out there. What you say that is not true about me, no matter who sees it, does not make it true. Otherwise, I would be dead up in here.
Yeah.
Because the things they've said about me that you hear a room and you're like, again, repeat. That's me. You're surprised about what is being said about you. So, yeah. The public will say anything. And if they say it's a stunt, I hope it worked. I hope it made them aware that I have a show on May 9th at the Sheraton. And I hope they will follow the stunt and come and watch and see for themselves if indeed it is a stunt. So if it's a stunt, I hope it worked.
Kudos to you, Icon. How do you blend creativity with family?
I don't think you set out to say this is how I'm going to balance things. But it's good to acknowledge that your life has changed. When your life changed, when it changes, when you get changes in your life, acknowledge them. Don't act like you don't see them.
Right.
I never used to be a mother. I am a mother right now. There are things I never used to do that I must do right now. There are things I used to do that I cannot do right now. And maybe that's how I get the balance, accepting the things that I can still do and maneuver through, and knowing the things that I just simply cannot do because of who I am growing into or who I've grown into. And also, I wish my ninjas would take time to realize that I have actually grown. I'm no longer the other ninja, the one of 15 years ago. And it would be such a shame if I was the same person. Also, I don't want them following me if they are the same people they were when I started. They should unfollow me. I hope they changed. I hope they've evolved. So understanding that it's okay to change, it's true, people do change, will allow them to understand some of the things that they even have no business understanding about me. They are ninjas. Kansiime ninjas. I remember, it was a minibus skit. Now it's one of those old skits I don't even own. The ones that were owned by minibus where I was a conductor. It was a skit about being careful what TV children watch. So it was a skit where I watched Jackie Chan and ninjas climbing over a roof and flying over a roof the previous day. And then my father caught me on top of the roof. My father then was Philip, came back from work and found me on top of the roof doing higher, higher, higher. So that skit, we called it Ninja because I was literally on top of the, and my father needed to come, put a ladder, climb, and I come down. So it was a crisis. It was a village crisis. Why? Because a child watched an action movie and was trying to be a ninja. So it was like those skits that became popular before they knew who Kansiime was. So by the time I got so many people following me, it felt, do you know these who, have you ever seen ninjas fighting? You don't know where they come from, but there are so many.
Yeah.
And they come from like the dark, and just know my ninjas flocked my channel like ninjas. My fans flocked my channel like ninjas. Like I woke up and I had 300,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
I'm like, what is this? As in, what? It's like I created a TV without knowing it. Why? Because there was a need for it and nobody else was doing it. So when people were actually searching, I was the only point they were going to. And every other person looking for content was going to Nigeria, because by then we had Manuela. There was some kid called Manuela who's not a kid anymore. Is it Mark Angel? Mark Angel comedy. I remember those were the guys that, you know, were giving me a run for my money. I would have to do skits every week because Mark Angel has done skits every week.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's where the ninja name came from. My ninjas gave themselves a name from how they attacked my channel.
Shout out to the ninjas. I'm a ninja too.
Shout
Not
out,
ninja.
I feel it in Kuhulira.
If you could go back and change it all, what would you change?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Even the bad things. Nothing. Especially the bad things. Because those are lessons I cannot unlearn.
Yeah.
And I got more lessons from the bad things that have happened to me. So if I was to change, I would be changing some of the bad things that have happened. But they are the reason why I am here, why I know better, why I worry less, why I will sleep at night, because I have had sleepless nights before and still it hasn't changed the result.
Right.
You know, it's like I've lived long enough to know that at the end of the day, everything that happens is meant to. How you react within that time is what really matters, and the lesson you carry away from whatever it is that is happening to you.
I wouldn't change anything in my life too, whether good or bad. It's made me who I am today, and I really
you know?
like that. You touched on the Comet Grill a little bit, but I just wanted to give it some. I had a segment for itself, so when we were talking about time, I was like, I need to get to it. But you touched on the Comet Grill of Kansiime happening on the 9th of May. 2025. What should the ninjas expect? What should they expect on this one? Well,
it's a first of its kind. We haven't had an official comedy roast show here in East Africa. And I'm just, you can't expect my ninjas to educate themselves. I've been telling them, like they would come and ask me in the comments, like, but what is this roast? And my response to them would be like, Ninja, go and educate yourself. Like, go on Google and see what a roast is. So that you don't be looking like this. So, my ninjas should expect, first of all, entertainment, because whatever it is I'll be doing on that stage is for their pleasure, right? And to maybe help them out, roast comedy is insult comedy. So what is going to be happening is they are going, me as Kansiime, and I've been telling you don't mess with me. I've done over 1,000 videos telling you don't you mess with Kansiime. Like if you have anything to say, please keep it to yourself. You cannot be messing with me. I'll retaliate. But this is going to be the time where I am going to curate about 12 professionals in different fields who have very high opinions and low opinions of me. And I'm going to curate them into a 2.5-hour performance where one by one they get up and give me my 2 cents and give 2 cents to anyone that is on that panel.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the night, I'm standing up and I'm accepting the flowers they've given me to smell and the shit they've given me to smell. And I'm throwing it back at them. So nobody on that panel will be able to say something that they cannot swallow, because it's just going to be a show of showing each other the truth and seeing each other's oesophaguses. And on the lineup, I have I have some confirmed people who, even when I think about them, I'm like, but am I ready for someone to hold a microphone and tell me the truth about myself? Salvador told me he even has sleepless nights thinking how he is going to break me. He said, Anne, you really shouldn't have allowed. Okay, so when I released the artwork, he was in my inbox. He said, first wait. Why have you not asked me to be on this show? Because how do you think I shall not be on this show?
Yeah.
And then so Salvador is among the roasters. And then the chief roaster is Miriam Matembe, Dr. Miriam Matembe, my mama.
Nice.
She's going to be on and she's going to have 20 minutes of telling the whole audience the truth about how disappointed she is in the youth of today. Me being the highlight.
All I have to say, for all those people who say they don't know roast, those who listen to my podcast, the roast is something different. It's something you want to witness being
you
there.
You want to watch it. I don't know how to explain it to them.
Like I've seen a few roast show and you can just cry, laugh, and just be like, so for me, you roast me, I'll cry. I'll start crying.
No, but there's someone being just absolutely disrespectful.
Right.
But this is content we are going to curate. This is going to be curated content. We'll have a prompters for those who want them. We don't intend to put anyone under so much pressure. It's going to be an easy go show where we are meeting, of course, everyone on the panelists. We finished rehearsing as the creative team. My creative team is actually being led by Timothy Nyanzi. It has Omara Daniel. It has Don Andre. It has Napoleon. It has Hillary. Okay. Very amazing comedians. All of them who can't wait to be a part of the first Comedy Grill. So we've written content for everyone and myself, and then we just weave it into a very good performance. Tata Selassie is actually going to be among those 12 people roasting me.
I think I saw him somewhere on the list somewhere. That would be crazy.
You see, because how will you roast me properly if you can't roast me from inside the house? Like, there are things he has always wanted to say that I know he would need a microphone.
That's going to be a good one. Now,
Ninayo, on that lineup, Ninao GNL Zamba. Oh, but I'm also working with Talent Africa.
Yeah.
And usually when I do productions like this, I carry the burden on my head. Mm-hmm. But this time around, Ali really understood my vision.
Yeah.
Like, I am so blessed that Talent Africa so to partner with me, because it took, even when we were talking to sponsors, there are sponsors who said, a roast? Are we culturally ready for a roast? Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, we want to sponsor, but... And then the artwork I released for the roast was me naked, looking like meat. People are like, now is into porn. She has even removed her clothes. No. Hey, but those pictures are very erotic. Hey, Bonnie, we would be talking. You'd think I'm Gloria Boogie. Just know I looked like meat, ready to be barbecued. Just know I'm ready for that grill. Hey,
anybody
let
out
them
there,
bring it on.
My listeners who are in Uganda, who even if you are East Africa, this is something you would want to witness. Just be there or be nowhere. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for the whole show. There's a lot of things that we could sit here and talk with Kansiime. Actually, if we had time, I could. My DOP said I'll give you 2 hours because I messaged him yesterday. But I'm going to have Kansiime. But no, I know even people won't sit here to listen to it all. But I appreciate that the time you have given me and the things we've talked about. Maybe in the future we'll come back to Bimaleyo.
No, maybe. Togenda kundeka roundabout Bonnie. There's nothing like maybe. Let's confirm that we are doing this again.
We're gonna do it again. Actually, we should do it after the roast.
That would be so nice. So that I tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you'll be here.
Anyway, we're going to wrap this up, but I wrap this up with rapid fire. Rapid fire is I ask you 5 questions. You give me the first answer that comes to your head. You don't have to explain it.
I can say pass. Because if it's rapid fire, you'll end up shooting me when I'm thinking.
Kari, what's the funniest thing that has ever happened to you on stage?
Should I say this?
This is the first thing that came to you?
I can't. when I was on stage. Sometimes, okay, so I'm always so nervous. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be one word answer, but this one I have to explain it, otherwise people will kill me. Sometimes you're so nervous. Like I always tell people, I'm so nervous when I'm going on stage for stand-up. I sit on the toilet and nothing comes out. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm about to have a running stomach, but nothing really comes out. So now when I step on stage, somehow relief. There's a time I gasped and I was so sure my audience smelled it. Like, I was like, Anne, I swear they are not paying you this time round. Okay, how come nobody has ever asked me that question? How is that possible?
Thank you. I'm glad I did.
Wow. Okay, I have just embarrassed myself. Okay. Another rapid fire. I think
you actually covered this one because say if you weren't a comedian, what would you be? A shopkeeper. Who is the funniest person you've ever met?
My mom.
Yeah. One Ugandan phrase that always makes you laugh.
The common phrase these days that catches me off guard though is from what are these girls? Are they Gen Zs? Those ones, eh? Mm-hmm. No, even the younger ones. Yeah. They have this statement where it catches you off guard, but they tell you to be guided.
Be guided, please.
Like you're having a conversation with someone who you know what they don't know, you know more than they know. Yeah. But this child says, excuse me, auntie, let's be guided here. And in your head, you're like, okay, do I look lost? Yeah. That statement, like every time I hear it, I'm like, all right, I'm yet to learn something new. Let's be guided from a 10-year-old. Like, what are you telling me? Guide me. So that statement I'm like, children need to just pace themselves. But now, don't talk back to an adult like this. Like, sometimes my fingers start itching. I'm like, okay, let's guide each other before I slap you.
You know, for me, the phrase that I like a lot, I don't know if it's the funniest, but when you try to send somebody money, ngakugamba, ateka ku MTN kuetero bamanja.
Bamanja. Togeza bamanja teka. This was tade ku line ichi. I know.
I'll end this show at that. I usually have final three, but you can give me a one answer. What's a life lesson you've learned in life to this point?
That if you're speaking the truth, you don't need to remember it.
What gets you excited about life?
I think life itself.
That's an answer too.
Life is very exciting, my friend. You can have very many problems. You're about to give up, then you think about life. You're like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, if there's one thing I know, I can never end my life, no matter how hard it is.
Right. I've said the same thing.
The day I go, it will not be on my own will. I will go when I'm like, I don't want. Just know, I will be saying I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So lives, and you love it. It's lifing.
Yeah.
It's lifing.
The final one. Who would you like to see on this podcast next as a guest? And you help me bring that person here.
That bit of me helping you bring them here is where I've stopped. Because there are so many people I would like to see on this podcast, but I don't know whether I'll be able to bring them here.
Katugire, you mentioned them and see how we can get them. We'll hunt them down.
I don't think you've hosted like Shiba Karunji.
No, I've not had
I don't
Shiba
think you've
Karunji.
hosted, you've not had Azawi.
I've not had Azawi. I would love to talk to Azawi actually.
Yes,
has been on my list.
To watch a conversation with Azawi.
Azawi, we can get her. We'll get her.
With that one, we'll get her.
Yeah, that's one we'll get her.
Okay.
We'll hunt her down. Anyway.
But also have the likes of Mpamire.
Teacher Mpamire.
I can get you Mpamire.
Yeah. Actually,
I think that one I can get you Mpamire.
Because actually I have a funny story of him. Everywhere I go, my Kenyan siblings, do you know Teacher Mpamire? You look like Teacher Mpamire. They tell me I look like Teacher Mpamire.
Oh, wow. He needs to come here. You never know, but you see our fathers. You said your father is from where?
He's a Uganda.
Hey, Aunt Kati, you never know. When they start saying you look like Mpamire, let's find out who is Mpamire's father. Before you refuse, you don't refuse. These things, you're just being complicated for nothing. They might be telling you things about yourself you need to know. So you just bring Mpamire here Atene
the
birth
truth.
certificate mwete again.
Hey there, my name is Bonnie Chibuka, the podcast host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching and listening to my podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Also, leave a feedback on this podcast because that's how we grow. Thank you very much and be blessed.
Hi ninjas, my name is Kansiime and I've had the pleasure of finally being hosted by the Ugandan boy. Imwe, what we talked about, if I tell you, you will be there not watching the interview. So just help yourself. Go and watch and catch up on everything. There's nothing we didn't talk about. I was very disappointed because we didn't do the things that I hoped we would do during the interview. But just go there and watch and see the ones that we were able to do. Then come 9th May, come to the Sheraton and watch me be roasted. You will enjoy it.
Just talk.
You know, you're for no good reason. You do them. Who are you threatening with a good time?
And thank you very much for
Bye, Bonnie.
Bye.